I post the post on Instagram. You ask your questions and I answer them here. So let's get started. How do you know when you need to tweak your macros, and how do you know which to increase or decrease? It's a great question. Hey, what's up YouTube? Christine with Gauge Girl Training, an online meal planning and coaching service, and owner of GaugeGirlTraining.com. So what I'm here to talk to you guys about is our new YouTube Q&A. I post the post on Instagram. You ask your questions and I answer them here. So let's get started. All right, so I want to thank everybody and welcome you to my new vlogging spot. Gauge Girl Training just relocated its headquarters. So you are in my new conference room. So I'm really excited about all of that. One quick announcement though on that, anybody in the Philadelphia tri-state area who wants to do a consultation with me can do it in person at the new office location. So when you purchase a consult, just request that you want to do it in person if you are local, and we can do so. So first question is from Mimi Weasley. I already calculated my macros and I am an endomorph. My question is, do I include all the carbs I eat, including veggies, because I know some, or just some main carbs such as quinoa, oatmeal, etc.? So the question is basically, if I could like paraphrase that, she's asking, does she need to account for the carbs in vegetables, or is it just complex carbs? And the answer to that is you count all carbs. So even if it's vegetables, count those carbohydrates, because when you are recommended a macronutrient level, everything that you eat in a day that contains that carb is supposed to be tracked. If you have a specific fat loss goal, if you're just trying to maintain, if you're just trying to live healthy and go about things, then it's not as important to track veggies because they contain such a small amount of carbs. But if you are going about it and you need to be on point, start there, track, and include it. This question is by Moon Baby G. How do you know when you need to tweak your macros, and how do you know which to increase or decrease? It's a great question. The main times you want to tweak your macros is when you are not achieving a desired result. So for instance, if you have plateaued, if your weight is no longer changing and your measurements are no longer changing and your energy is not on point, you may want to change your macros. The number one reason I would say you need to change your macros, honestly, is if your energy isn't right and you're just not feeling good. That's the number one reason I would change someone's macros, because if you are like constantly hungry and miserable and almost feel ill on your macros where it's beyond mind over matter, that's when you might want to add a little bit more fat. Carbs, you may want to vary it slightly. If you are not seeing results, there are times when you may want to lower your carbs. There are times where you may want to bump your protein. There are times where you may want to bump and drop down your fat. All that being said, it's going to depend on the nature of the result you're trying to see. Next question is, what are your thoughts on juice cleanse? Are they okay if it's only for a few days? What if you are drinking 1600 calories? Do they help your body reset? I'm not big on juice cleanses. I don't find them helpful. I think that they are a band-aid approach to lifestyles that have not been properly educated and disciplined in the rigors of just eating healthy. So I don't necessarily recommend them. I don't think it's good. I recommend, if you have been off track, drink more water, drink some tea. I just posted a tea on my Instagram, the Weight List by Traditional Medicinals. That's good to help with bloating. In general, you gotta just work it off with time. If you have overeaten for days at a time, I don't recommend going and starving yourself, because taking your behavior from one extreme to another extreme, it's still extreme behavior. You need to like reel it in, get focused, get set up on a meal plan, and just kind of go about it and make the best decisions that you possibly can, because exchanging one extreme behavior for another extreme behavior is not going to address the real problem. Next question is Gauge Girl Silva M. Do you ever recommend casein protein powder? Pros, cons? The answer is yes. I have recommended casein for some clients depending on their needs. Casein is very interesting. Of the protein that's in milk, 80% of it is whey, 20% of it is casein. Casein has a very special manufacturing process to turn it into a powder, and therefore it is more expensive than whey. But that being said, casein is a slow digest protein compared to whey. So whey, the molecular weight is very, very small, where it's absorbed within your bloodstream within an hour. Casein actually forms a gel, So the thing is, one product you may have heard of is micellar casein. The word micellar is describing a micelle. A micelle is a formation of something that forms in colloid science, meaning it forms a gel-like substance that's inside the gut. And what happens is it's very thick, it doesn't absorb very quickly, so the aminos are being leached into your bloodstream slowly over the period of anywhere from 4 to 8 hours as opposed to 1 hour. That's good because it gives your body a positive nitrogen balance at a slower rate. It helps you feel full longer. It's oftentimes described as a nighttime protein powder because of its absorption rate. Some cons to it, and while the texture is a bit different, I think it's good. I don't think it tastes as good as whey in my personal opinion. It's very, very thick. It's very, very creamy. If you do have allergies to dairy, it's going to be a problem because casein is straight from dairy. But the thing is, I use it when I am trying to do a lean bulk, where if I'm trying to gain muscle, but I'm not trying to add much body fat, I will take it at night in addition to my regular protein. It's also good sometimes I will use it midday as a snack when I just need to feel full because it makes you feel very full. But good question on casein. Sarah Leah, how to deal with people who don't support your healthy and active lifestyle? Like if your family buys unhealthy foods and complains about your healthy diet or training, just spreads negative thoughts. I think the best thing is to kind of stay in your own lane when it comes to that and worry about yourself. Don't over exaggerate other people's opinions because, for instance, let's say you have a family member that smokes cigarettes and they drink all the time and they dabble in excessive behaviors. I guarantee you that every time they go to light up a cigarette or every time they go to drink or every time they go to do this, I guarantee you're not all over them giving them a hard time about their choices and behaviors. And even if you do disagree with it, you can agree to disagree. So for instance, I guarantee that they're not as all over you as you may think. And the thing is, you need to make these choices for you. Like if somebody is going to have a conniption every time you eat a healthy piece of chicken or salmon or shrimp, as opposed to eating just complete and utter garbage, it's a problem with themselves, which has nothing to do with you. If somebody wants to control your behavior to that extreme, I'd say that's like a not good situation to be in at all. And I would do your best to remove yourself from that situation as best you can. And just, these are decisions for you. So another thing I also tell people when they have that type of environment is don't draw excessive attention to your goals. I mean, obviously you want the support of your family and all that kind of stuff, and I get it. But for instance, don't be crying and bitching and moaning about, oh, I gotta eat this, oh, I gotta prep this, oh, I gotta go to the gym. Like, no, that's a choice you made for yourself, so just own it and live with it. What advice do you have for somebody who struggles with addictive personality? I feel if I would start tracking macros, I would become unhealthily obsessed, but I want my nutrition to be on track. Thank you. I personally actually tend to have an addictive personality, so I can relate to that. What I recommend is meal planning. If you already have everything prepped and set and staged and ready to go, just follow your meal plan. On my meal plans, especially like my 30-day custom meal plans and on up, you can see the exact portions you need to be eating so you don't lose your mind. Just sub out portion for portion. Like for instance, if you know you're supposed to be having 4 ounces of a protein, this many ounces of a complex carb, this many ounces of a vegetable, just stick to that structure. I think meal planning is the easiest way to go if you tend to just get overwhelmed and flustered when it comes to actually tracking macros. You actually make it harder for yourself the more off menu you get and the more you try to just go about your nutrition choices on the fly. You're actually making it harder for yourself. So plan ahead and then you're set. You don't have to think so hard if you really, really want to reach your goals. But if it's a lifestyle thing, I definitely recommend just knowing your portions. Once you start weighing your food and getting it on track, like if you're off by 0.2 ounces, that's not the end of the world. What's end of the world is when you just completely go off the rails and say F it, and you decide you don't want to do it anymore. I mean, you can't allow yourself to hit that other extreme either. You need to like dial it in, stay accountable. And if you need help staying accountable, get a coach. I'm a coach. You can work with me or find somebody you like. Team Gage Girl has a community where we have a private Facebook group where everyone interacts. We get on Periscope daily. Everyone talks to each other. So that's a good option if you need other people to check in with when you need help. Next question, do you personally go low carb on a rest day? The answer is no. I'm on maintenance. I'm not trying to lose weight. However, if I was on contest prep, I technically don't take rest days. I might go slightly lower in carbs than I would than if it was a heavy leg lifting day, yes, but not intentionally low carb. I just go higher carb, not low carb. All right, this question is from Funny Looking. Can you address pre and post workout shakes, supplements, meals, etc.? And what is the time frame I should have them? Hour before and after workouts. Main supplements I see suggested is protein, BCAAs, and glutamine. Before a workout, you want carbs or a pre-workout. The reason why you want carbs is because your body is relying on glycogen for fuel to lift and train. Your body does not rely on protein for that energy. Your body relies on carbs. So you want carbs before your workout. BCAAs are decent for an intra workout. So intra or post, some people sip on them all day. Here's the thing, guys. I co-own a supplement company, so I should be telling you take all the BCAAs you want, but the thing is, you may not necessarily need them. They are designed to support performance. They are designed for stamina, endurance. If you are like someone who's like a CrossFitter or a power lifter and you're trying to put up heavier numbers, and that's the main reason you work out, you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to grow, you're trying to do all those things, yeah, take a BCAA. If you're doing some pretty intensive stuff, especially if you're like a cyclist, maybe you're an endurance athlete, BCAAs are good for endurance. BCAAs are branched chain amino acids. Glutamine is a good post-workout, which is recovery. And after you work out, you definitely want to take protein within 30 minutes post-workout because you just fatigued all your muscle fibers and shredded them apart. You want them to grow and recover, so you want to refuel your muscles with additional protein to synthesize that and support muscle growth. That's a big generic overview, but the main things you really need, honestly, is make sure you have a little bit of carbs in your system beforehand. I don't recommend it weight training fasted, but if you are going to, make sure you at least have like some kind of pre-workout or something. But I can talk about when you might want to be taking BCAAs outside of this on another video, because we can talk about intermittent fasting. So I'll talk about that in another video because it keeps your body anabolic. But in general, protein after, carbs before, BCAAs during, glutamine after. But the thing is, I guarantee if you're just trying to be healthy, trying to lose a little bit of weight, you most likely do not need BCAAs. So those are the main questions I'm going to answer this time. Stay tuned because the 6-week shred is starting August 7th, which is this Sunday. So if you want to join us for that 42-day nutrition challenge, go to GageGirlTraining.com, link below. Thank you guys for watching. And if you have any other questions, let me know. See you in the next one. Bye now. Society judges women very harshly, and I want to change that. 'Cause you're beautiful. I am starting the Gage Girl Scholars Program today because I believe that women can be sexy, they can be smart and strong at the same time.